I have been using a Sony a6400 since 2019, and it's been quite a time now that I'm using it in my everyday shooting and in my commercial projects as well. To me, it is a fantastic camera with features to address my different photographic needs. In this video, I am going to explain why I choose to stick with this camera. I will also discuss who should buy it in 2021. So without further ado, let's jump into the video.
At Camera Zone, our mission is to provide the most reliable updates of photography and cinematography gear, including expert opinion based on their performance and value.
As this is a hands-on review and not a spec video, so I am not going to describe its form factor, rather I will focus more on its performance. But if you really want to know its form factors, I will put a link in the description. The 3-inch LCD screen gives me quite good details because of its 921K dot resolution. I can tilt the screen up and down, giving me a varied view angle for different situations. As for the selfie mode, the camera lets me flip the screen. I also found the screen to be very useful as it allows me to set the focus point. I also like the OLED electronic viewfinder very much. The view is crisp, giving me a good idea of what I am shooting. Another new addition to the A6000 series is the inclusion of an intervalometer, which allows me to capture images at a specific interval so that they can be combined to make time-lapse. As far as connectivity is concerned, the Sony a6400 comes with Bluetooth NFC and Wi-Fi. Honestly, I have mostly used Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and NFC is not much of use to me. Moreover, I can also pair it with my Apple device. However, I found using this app is a bit of a pain as the app often lags and loses pairing with the camera. There is also a 3.5mm microphone input along with micro HDMI and micro USB 2.0 ports on its left side, and I am literally disappointed with it because I had to attach an HDMI converter each time I needed to use an external monitor with the camera. Besides, the micro HDMI of this camera cannot bear the weight of the converter and the HDMI wire, which often led to the displacement of the converter. The frequent displacement also causes damage to the HDMI converter, and consequently, I had to buy quite a number of HDMI converters. It would be very helpful if this camera had a mini HDMI instead of a micro HDMI. Now, how long does its battery run, you ask? Well, I have ended up shooting 4K 30fps at around 50 minutes. Usually I shoot more than that, so I have purchased an extra pair of batteries. I simply love the image quality produced by this camera. Featuring a 24MP APS-C sensor, the images look very sharp and the bokeh quality is also good. Here are some pictures that I have shot with this camera. The ISO ranges from 100 to 32,000 in its native mode and expandable to 100,000 and 2400. In my experience, the camera shows no loss of clarity from ISO 100 to 3200. Even at ISO 6400, I did not find much noticeable noise. However, further increasing the ISO makes the image quality suffer. Before the a6400, I had a Canon T7i DSLR. One of the main reasons I switched to the Sony a6400 is its autofocus capabilities. My Canon had its autofocus points positioned centrally, while a6400 combines contrast and phase detection focus sensors, running almost to the edges of the frame and thus enabling me to focus on a moving subject even on the edges. I found that it can almost precisely identify as well as keep track of my subject. Overall, the autofocus performs well in keeping track of my subject, but sometimes I experience a loss of focus where the background is not so contrasty. For example, if I want to shoot a white subject on a white background, the camera suffers to autofocus on the subject. Furthermore, I have also experienced difficulties with autofocus in low light conditions. If I had to point out the best thing about a6400, I would say its video quality. Here is some commercial video footage that I have shot with the Sony a6400. It lets me shoot 4K videos up to 30 FPS and 1080p videos at 120 FPS. With faster autofocus, the subject in the videos looks crisp and sharp. Usually I shoot RAW with this camera, which gives me ample opportunity to tweak colors, highlights, and shadows in the post-production. However, a lack of inbuilt image stabilization often makes it difficult for me while shooting handheld. As I was more into commercial product photography, I just bought a tripod for steady shooting indoors. Speaking of the tripod, if you are looking for the best tripod in the market, the video link is in the I button. Okay, back to the topic. Sony a6400 has no image stabilization. So my suggestion is, if you are a vlogger and planning to buy a camera for outdoors, this is not the perfect camera for you. Another flaw that makes it inappropriate for vlogging is its hot shoe. When I attached an external microphone via hot shoe while flipping the display for vlogging, it literally hindered my view, and I didn't find a good way around for vlogging with your external mic plugged in. There are some aspects where I was irritated by its drawbacks. The most obvious one is the lack of inbuilt image stabilization. Though Sony has marked it as a vlogging camera, without any stabilization, vlogging becomes a whole lot difficult unless you are okay with extremely wobbly footage. Though I had some issues with this camera, I still chose to stick with the Sony a6400 because it serves me well for what I need. It gives me stunning image and high quality footage. Besides, mostly I shoot commercial photos and videos on a tripod, and I don't usually vlog. The Sony a6400 meets all my photography as well as basic videography needs. Instead of investing in a new camera, I invested in lenses for my product photography. And you won't believe what great difference a quality lens can make in your portfolio. Again, if you are into product photography and looking for the best lenses, check out the link in the I button. So putting it all together, I would say if you are just starting photography, the Sony a6400 is a tremendous camera for you, as it will cost you only $900, and if you had some extra money, I would suggest you invest in lenses. But if you are an enthusiast and looking for an option to elevate your shooting experience, then the Sony a6400 is not a good option. Instead, you should invest in some upgraded models like Sony a6600 that has image stabilization and other advanced features. So that was all about my experience with the Sony a6400 and why I am still using it. If you are also using the same a6400 camera, let me know your experience in the comment section.
Thanks for watching. We always crave to learn more. If you think we missed a product or another needed to add, we'd love to hear yours.